together. First of all, you should let your hair out. Look at mine.
Oh no, it's crimpy.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I got to leave that one.
Okay.
We're not blended today. Hello. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get
started.
Yes, with the show on marriage today.
If you're married, say I randomly on the app.
If you're not, say me.
Me.
All right. So the first question, when I asked, now this is the question after all these weddings I went to, I asked myself. And then when I asked a couple people, do you have any question suggestions? Everybody, which are all single people, said, how do you know? And I'm like, good question.
And when I was asked, how do you know? That I said to Pierre or Javon, that's the most question that everybody doesn't know until they know. But it's still like, how do I know? How will I know if he really
Jamal sent a comment.
Okay. But yeah, so if you are married, if you're heading there, yes, okay.
Hey, eyes.
Y'all press for the eyes. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so how did you know? When did you know? How long did it take? Like,
what is it? Because I like to feel
that sounds so single.
Yeah, I like to feel that my favorite line, fair games, one of our favorite lines, life is a feeling process.
Life is a feeling
And I like to think that when me and Pierre Javon get to that space where individuals have found us and it gets that real, I feel like that feeling will surface and we'll know exactly what it is. It'll be that thing like, bruh, this is what it is. Like,
okay,
I know.
Well, I'm going to tell you where my hang up came in the whole, all these weddings I went to this month. So, like, after Jamal's wedding, Jeremy leans into me and he's like, it wasn't that beautiful. It doesn't make you want to get married. And I'm like, no, it scared the mess out of me. Because it's almost like the more people that you see, we see weddings that go viral. It's really nice. It's emotional. You feel it if it's really nice. But when you're seeing somebody get married that you've known your whole life or even 10 years or even you knew them before they met that person, it's a different type of connection to it. Like, you feel like they really doing this, and it makes you think, am I gonna do this? Like, is this gonna, because I think it's like, if you know Janae and Pat and you know their love, you feel like, am I gonna get that look? Like, that's how you feel because you know more about them as opposed to watching on Facebook when it's like, that's so sweet, that's so nice. But it's like, my brother, we grew up in the same house, he cooked my breakfast, you're married. You know, it's like, this is legit, y'all. Is this really, how do y'all know? That's where that how do you know come from.
Yes, and that's why I said, like how you said, to see the genuine love that the person you've grown up in the house with feel for somebody else. Yeah. It not to say that you're not deserving of it, but it just makes you look at it and say, like, will I get that? Yeah. Like, this is amazing. This is dope. I grew up with this person, and now look at how somebody else loves them enough to take them from us and have them for themselves. Like, that's amazing. Yes. And it's an overwhelming feeling.
Yes, and it's so close to home.
Very obviously, like, it was in my home. Jesus. Okay, so we do have a comment. Virtue Define said, we started dating that April of whatever year, and he told my mother in May that if he won the lottery, he would marry me tomorrow. He knew before I did.
So when did you know? Can you disclose that information?
Yes, when did you know? Because we know you're going to be on the comments. Yes.
Jamal said, wow, that's deep. Which part?
Us or
Janae? I think we're all kind of deep.
Everybody is, we're all in this.
Yeah. See, okay.
And Jamal, we would like to know how you know too, even though you told us at a live show.
And I was gonna say, first of all, shout out to Jamal because my cousin asked him how was married life, and he said,
and this is what sparked the conversation.
It was amazing, and then
he feels blessed.
And and then I said something, and he's like, I really feel blessed, and it's like
because that's what sparked the conversation. And honestly, as single women and men, those are the responses that our peers need to be giving us. Not the negative connotation that come along with marriage, that your 50-year-old uncle or your 50-year-old aunt that's been married for 30 years and she already tired of them. So it's like, oh, girl, don't do it because it's been 30 years and you still with them. So it's something.
And y'all may be being funny, but it's like when you're younger.
You listen to that.
Yeah, or you see it kind of, you want it to be like my brother said. But what I was gonna say about Jamal, I don't know if he's typed his answer or not. But I know when we talked to him about other stuff before, he talked about dating his wife, and he was saying when he met her, how did he know? And he was saying, or how did he know he was gonna marry her? And he said he knew
the first
day. And I was so taken aback because I felt like, don't hit me with that cliche answer. And then he was like, that 3 hours had passed by, and he just still there talking to her, whatever. So then it's like, but how? But
it's a feeling process.
I'm sure
we can't ask as many questions. It's the only question. The only question that we can ask is how, and it's like we won't ever know until we know. We won't.
I don't know, but I'm just gonna say, sitting through 3 weddings, I just kept feeling like every vow was deeper than the last, and that's how I felt like, oh my gosh.
When you realize, when you realize that you can't live without the person, and that's real. That's real too, because it's like I know that at some point there's people in my life that I've met that I know I can't live without. You know, and just to feel that about the opposite sex in a manner of to be with you forever, that's deep. Whoa.
Yeah, and
like I got my friends, it's like I can't live without my best friend. I can't live without these girls. I can't live without Gigi. I can't live without Pierre. Like I can't live without, it's like, but to feel it about, that's just real. That's just realer than whatever.
Yeah.
It's like make you speechless.
It just
makes me scared.
It makes me wonder. Yeah, hello. It makes me wonder about myself too. Like,
do I want that?
Can I do that? Do I want that?
Yeah.
And then it's almost like when I say how do you know, it's like we were talking about weighing the good and the bad. Like, I'm like, nobody's gonna be perfect, So it's kind of like, how do you know that this is something you can deal with forever? And this is something that you can't. Like, that's another how do you know, like.
Cause it's like, no, and me and Pierre Javon had this conversation too. It's like when we getting to know people and like the thing that annoys us or the thing that gets on our nerve or, it's normal relationship stuff. But at the age we're at, it's like, well, this is something I need to think about if I could deal with if he actually wanted to marry me. Like, can I deal with the fact that he cuts me off when I talk all the time? That's a little thing, but it annoys me. It's like 10 years down the road if he cut me off one day while I want to leave. It just, and I think we might think deeper into it.
Yeah, or I think too, like, to use your example, like cutting you off, what's that going to lead to? Which could be, being a little negative or pessimistic, but it's kind of like, for me, if I came from a household where my parents divorced and I maybe saw their communication break down wrong or my dad overtalked my mom couldn't get a word in, if somebody cut me off, I'm sure my daddy was not cutting my mama off on the first date. Right. And he might not have been cutting her off till year 5, but whatever, it progressed. So it's like stuff like that. It's just like, it messed with your psyche.
Yeah, okay, we have 2 real answers. Jesus. Oh. So Virtue Defined said she said, I knew when he loved away pain that I thought I would never get over. When I could look at my exes and genuinely wish that they were happy as I was because I was just that happy. And he provided me with the peace and confidence that no man has ever given me. He loves me, period. That's when I really knew that I could rock with him forever.
Couple of forever.
Cue music. Then we have a male, Jamal. This is too real. When we went on our first date and I didn't realize 2 hours went by, it caught my attention. When she texted me the next day, I knew she wasn't about games, and it was all downhill from there. Downhill in a good way. When the bike going really fast and you want to slow it down, but the wind in your face, and it just feels so good, and you just hope the hill don't ever end.
Jeremy, he's behind you.
Shout out to Jeremy and the folks. But yes, that's dope.
No. Thank y'all.
And that's why I say it's just a feeling process. The more and more me and you can question about it, we can go back and forth about it at work all day. But it's just like, I just know when we get to a certain place, right? When we get to a certain place, it'll really register with us.
And even though I had that whole spiel of my life, I completely agree because we talked about, vibes and stuff. You know. And women have intuition, so sometimes we ignore it, but
And I'm also at the age too, and I think a lot of us women are, where it's like when you are talking to somebody, it's like not about what you get out of deal with, but it's the initial question: can I marry him? Like because it's like not only are the people around us getting married, but the older I've gotten, the more I think I want that because I didn't ever really care about that. Yes. When I was young, Janae wanted marriage since she was 5.
Right.
Me, Janae, like, you gonna get married? It's like, no, I ain't. I'm gonna be playing these dudes all my life.
No. Just something in between there. I think I was in between.
Yeah, you wasn't in between, but just being real. And then it's like the older you get, and the connections you start to make with people and the bonds and you meet different guys, it's like, I can't keep trying to do this.
And what happens is when you're older, your sense of life shifts anyway. So what's important to you now was not important to you before. And I think a lot of things in our life we think of long term now. Like job-wise, is this going to propel me to something else? Is this what I really want to do? I don't want to be at this job forever. Even your friendships, you like, is this person somebody that's giving into my life or taking, you always gonna look at something like that now because we're in a different phase of our life. So it's like, there's no need for it to be any different with guys, basically.
Correct.
But anyway, we spent a long time on that. How are they?
Because it's serious.
What was this? This was your question. Do you want to get married?
Yeah.
Oh, we already answered it.
Yeah, we both just answered it.
Okay. Do you feel like other people's perception of their marriage
can sway? Yes. And like we talked about, especially if it's like huge figures in your life. And like if you have a mentor or whatever. And this can go really strongly for guys because one of my friends has a mentor that he looks up to and he's married, but he cheats on his wife. You know? So it's like one of those things like, yeah, in some spectrum, marriage is real and whoop-de-woo, but this is what he do to his wife, but he also makes sure she good at home. So it's like it takes the wrong dynamic because in this guy's mind, if this is the only person he has to look up to as a male figure, he's thinking, I can get married and I can do this too. Right. Because he's showing me the ropes on how to do what I want to do and still make sure my wife happy.
Yeah, that's tricky. That's real tricky. But, and I wasn't even thinking like something like that, but that's real.
Yeah, and it's just like, because it's a lot of guys that I've spoken to about marriage, and either they say that they know people that do what I just said, and that's the path they might try to go on, or on the other end, they say, man, these old heads out here, y'all thinking everybody happy. He be cheating on his wife. I ain't trying to be like that. Like, it's on either side of the dynamic. It's just a dynamic that's terrible either way. And I don't think men realize that younger men look up to them as much as they do, especially in the marriage sector, because 7 out of 10 men are thinking about it too. Just not as much, but they thinking about it too. Because at some point in life, just like women get tired at a young age of trying to figure it out, men get tired at some point. It's like, dang, I need to chill out. Like, what's going on?
And like we said, when people around you are getting married, you're like looking like, oh, you know, what I'm going to do. But I was going to say, the influence thing is really real in terms, like for me, and it doesn't have to be somebody like that you have a really close relationship with either.
Be people
like,
you know.
Yeah, like, for instance, like when I think of like when I was younger at my dance studio, it was this girl that my sister danced with or whatever. Shout out to Miss Stacy and Mr. Patrick. I thought they were just the best. Not thought past tense. They still are. They're still married. But I didn't know them. I went to their house. Jasmine played with her. She played with Jasmine, you know, whatever. She was so sweet. They just had a nice family. They had a nice home. And it just gave me the feeling like, oh my God. It was like they were my Cosbys, like in real life. And I always used to say, Mr. Patrick and Miss Stacy, they are so sweet. And, you know, and I seen, they weren't always, you know, perfect patty or nothing. You know, sometimes they argued or whatever. But to me, you just felt like they enjoyed being married to each other. Like they enjoyed having a family, enjoyed doing family things. And it just made you think, that is so sweet. I want to do that, you know. So it's like, and I don't know everything about them, but it was enough for me.
Right. And that's the thing, though, because everybody's not going to know everything about you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to know what's good, what's bad. They'll know how you guys interact with each other. And what you felt at a young age was real in your space and mind for them. And it means it was real to them, too. Whether they argue at night in the room with their door shut and their kids never know. Like, it don't matter. At the end of the day, love is real. And when you can feel that, you can feel that.
True. Very true.
So I feel like my only thing is if don't allow, which is anything in life, don't allow the opinions of other people to dictate what you'll do and how you'll do it. Because at the end of the day, whether Mr. Bob over here talking about he cheat on his wife and he makes sure he happy, you still know it ain't right.
And I feel like, and what if you think you're not going to get married and that's not, you know, this is the only way it's going to go and it's going to be bad or whatever. That's the only person that meet their match and be like, dang. And then you're going to be fighting it and you're going to end up losing somebody because you stuck on what you thought because of whoever. So don't be that person.
Don't be that guy.
The next question. Okay, so this was about a question that was posed a couple times in my life. I'm just kidding. About a honeymoon or a wedding. And by honeymoon, I mean traveling. So it doesn't just have to be going to one place. But somebody asked about if you would what if somebody proposed to you to let's have maybe a small wedding or maybe no wedding at all, and instead use that money to go travel for like 3 months, 3 weeks, 2 months, however long y'all could afford? What would you do? My response was, well, I didn't think about it. I wouldn't be so quick to say no. But then I kind of thought, could we compromise? Could I have a small wedding and then just travel half the time? Yeah. Because traveling is great and it is, a lot more of an experience, I guess, so to speak. But I don't feel like it has to be all or nothing.
Yes, I agree. I think that it's a good proposition to make. And I also think that once it's made, the person that's making it has to take into consideration the compromise that they would need to make. Because, like you said, can we do a small wedding and then travel? Because it's best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, whoever wants to travel, you get to travel. Maybe not 2 months. Maybe we do it for 3 weeks. And I get my 4 hours of fame at my wedding. Because the wedding is for women 9 times out of 10. But I get my 4 hours of fame and I get to celebrate with people and then celebrate with you for 3 weeks in worlds unknown.
Right.
I think that's dope. I think that's a dope idea, though, to have a small wedding and to put all that other extra money to just traveling with your new husband or wife. That's pretty. What do y'all think? Let us know how y'all would feel if you were offered the proposition to have a small wedding and just have a dope honeymoon.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Because in real life, the wedding is for everybody else and the honeymoon is for y'all.
Yeah.
So would you want to...
The only thing I think, though, about the wedding, though, even though we say it's for everybody else, I think when you have a good wedding, you get a lot of good things.
Yeah, and that too, you get money.
Especially if you're, moving brand new somewhere, you get a lot of appliances. You get a lot of stuff to start off. So even though it's for them in terms of they don't have to come, you're going to get married with or without them, and you're paying for them, granted, if they bring a gift...
You get reimbursed.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's a good start off to y'all lives.
Jamal said we had a wedding for our mothers. We didn't want to spend that money.
Yes,
and that happens. Sometimes, more often for women, they have extravagant weddings because their mother wants them to do that, or their mother may not have got to have such things, so they live through their child in the slightest way possible and still let the child do what they want, but they get to indulge in that moment and help and be of assistance and make things and do whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I don't want a wedding or anything, but I don't think I could. I don't be cutthroat, I feel like, because I just don't. No offense to mommy, but this ain't about you. Especially if she's not gonna pay you all of it. So I mean, I guess I get the sentiment that that's what they want, the family wants, whatever. But then when you have a wedding, family wants more things. They want this and they want that and they want this person to come. So it's not when do you cut it off, because of course you can cut it off, but it's just like, we should just start the way we go.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't even start it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so don't nobody be asking me nothing crazy.
Or me.
For real.
I might elope.
Oh, Lord.
Just come back on like, hey, this is my husband.
Child.
This is where I've been. This is where I've been. If you were wondering.
Oh, the other question was, is a honeymoon required?
I don't know. I would think that it's not.
Not required, but for you. If you got me... Oh, we got another question. We both wanted a wedding. Pat didn't care about the details, and although it was stressful, I don't regret the decision we made. Our wedding was dope, and that's no bias. It was love. It was lit.
It was a party. It was Rumba
lit.
54.
It was lit.
They played Laffy Taffy, y'all. If you had a wedding and you played Laffy Taffy, F that. If you had a wedding and you hung over 2 days later...
Well, who would do that?
Pierre Javine. No, but I think... for me, I would love a honeymoon. And only because I feel like that's a piece of serenity that you will need after the wedding, after the planning, after all the people, after all that. It's like, let's just get away for like a week, 5 days, have time to ourselves, really indulge. We could talk about, we could talk, we can have fun, we can do whatever. I feel like it's important.
And I think that you don't, like you said, I thought first you were just saying just y'all, but it's like the getaway part is the important part, because we can have PTO and be at home, but it's like you just feel like
getting away, get out of here.
But then too, I think the question kind of is like, is it required in terms of, how big it is? But it's like, you can go to Charleston, you can go to like anywhere that you can get a hotel or suite, or and
be away from everybody else.
So often people think like, Bahamas and something, an island.
And it could be the first of many. Like, even if you stay in the United States and y'all go to Chicago. Neither one of y'all ever been to Chicago. It's like
my parents went to New Orleans for theirs.
Because at this point, you're making memories with the person that you're gonna be with forever. So it's like, let's start off. It's just so in there.
I cannot stop.
I'm the only one. You're the only one. Together tonight.
All right. Okay. The next question is, so somebody I was talking to today. And I didn't even bait for this, to be honest. I just was talking to them like, how you
come through regular conversation,
blah blah. And he was like, they're doing good. And I was like, so when you get married, they've been together for a while. And he said, he wants to get a house first. So then they raised the question,
house or marriage?
He said, I'm not getting married and living in no apartment. That's what he said.
For one, I don't feel like it's an issue if you guys do live in an apartment. Take how it comes. There's some luxurious apartments. Right, there's some luxurious apartments downtown looking over the Sky City line and condos, right. So, you never know. But in the event, I don't think it's an issue because for one, I feel like it's deaded things that need to be taken care of anyway. Mm-hmm. I still wouldn't probably live in the house with him. Like I would probably help decorate, come over.
They already live together, but they live in an apartment.
Oh well. So for him in his space, it makes sense to why he wouldn't want to live in an apartment because for him, he's making another step in life, and it's like I want to continue to move up, not only marrying her, but I want to get her into a home too.
Right, which is the same sentiment people have who live apart. They want to get together. They want to
come together, right? So in his case, definitely understand, and I agree with him. And in my case, if the guy that I was with wanted us to go ahead and get a house, I would do that.
It's not like they're engaged either. He's saying, I'm not getting married so we get a house. He hasn't proposed either. So
yeah, it's just steps. It's what he wants.
Right.
Yeah. So I just feel like it can definitely happen. And that's a good thing because like I said, that's something that have to be dealt with anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's like if y'all are fortunate enough to go ahead and cross out your exes in an opposite manner, it's better to do it that way so the house is taken care of. Then you can find the ring and then y'all can get married. It actually sounds a little easier.
Yeah, I think, because I think the other way, well, not the other way around, but if you wanted to do it, I don't want to say all at the same time, but if you wanted to, when y'all move into a house, like y'all live separate, y'all get married, move to a house, one is a lot of money, and two, it's a really risky time frame, and so many things happen when you get in the house and getting a loan and stuff. It's like, what if the house not ready and your wedding day is already set, and so then it's like, what y'all gonna do in the meantime,
mm-hmm.
So that can get a little risky. I can see how it can go both ways. But I also think that, like I said, a lot of things can happen in the process of getting a house. So if the engagement or the ring is dependent on the house, it's kind of like if I want to get married and this is what he wants to do, how long is this gonna go on? Are we really gonna get this house,
and are we really gonna keep it moving, or is you gonna put this house in your name and we're gonna break up and I'm gonna have to get out?
Yeah, no,
that's another thing. Like then what?
Yeah.
Sticky situation that we're not in, praise God.
Basically. But yeah, I think it makes sense, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of things depending on other things.
Right.
Because that gives people a crutch a lot of times, even outside of marriage. Like people are like, when I get this, then I'm gonna do this. It's like you can do that right now. So
what you waiting for?
Yeah, because then sometimes people use it as an excuse. So I don't know. No shade to him because I don't think he is, but you know what I'm saying. What else we got? Oh, the question I put on Facebook. How long is too long for an engagement? I got a lot of answers really quick.
You did, and I seen it.
So most people said 2 years. A couple people said 3. One person said 5 years. Whew, that's like some Sex in the City type stuff.
That's like, what are y'all doing?
And this was sparked from The Real because they were talking about men getting women rings to get them off the market or to shut them up.
Which we'll tap back to.
Yes, we will. But one of the comments was, anything over a year is too long for an engagement. Me and my wife got married 7 months after our engagement. It's like, what's the point in waiting? Somebody else said that there's other factors like finances, so there may be legitimate reasons why you need to wait 1 to 2 years. 2 years is the max. Most people said the 2 years is for saving up money and stuff. Somebody else waited till their fiance graduated. He graduated before her, so that made sense. And one person said, I believe people should put more into their marriage than a wedding. So I'd probably say a year or less. No need for a huge wedding unless you want that, of course. But that's just me. Both of y'all and God and both close families and friends, because weddings are like high school graduations. You don't hear or see them anymore.
Makes sense. I think the answer is very versatile.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can go many ways for many different reasons for different people. But I do understand the gist of if I get the ring, I'm planning. You know what I'm saying? Because the question in most women's mind is, we're getting married, so let me go ahead and start planning. Which double back to something else they were talking about on the Real too, about some men just propose to their girlfriends to shut them up, and once they do that, the man isn't necessarily thinking that the planning is about to start and the wedding is going to come and this is going to get real within a year or less, usually a year out. That's the normal time frame. Mm-hmm. But that's why, Tamar said, don't be trying to give nobody a ring if that ain't what you're trying to do. Because when you give me a ring, that means we on go.
Yeah, and what happened, too, on the Real, what they talked about was, as a woman, when a man proposes to you and you don't start planning, like, that's a responsibility of the woman. She was saying, like, because with her and Vince, like, Vince did want to marry her, but she was like, they kind of sat around not planning for a while. She's like, it's going a long time. But it's also, women mostly are the ones into the wedding, so why hasn't she tried to plan anything? So it's kind of like, if the man makes a move to propose to you, then
you have to do the rest.
You got to keep it going. But then on Adrian's side, with her fiance that she called off the wedding with, she didn't do any planning. She was like, maybe that was wise. She was like, maybe, they were just going with it. And she really wasn't that into getting married or whatever. And eventually they called off their engagement.
Or for like, what's her name? Who you like?
Tamara.
No, Jeannie. For her, she said yes. But she wasn't all the way ready either. So it was like, yes. And she said, she whispered, but can we take our time with this? Because it's like, she didn't really know. Which goes back to Tamar's mother. Something Tamar's mother told her was, you always say yes. If you got a good man and he good, whether you sure or not, you make sure you say yes, because that might be the only time he asks you.
Because if you say no and then you decide yes, he gone. Not to
you already done messed him up.
Again. But if you say yes and you decide yes for real, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, and I never thought about it, but when she said it, I was like, that made perfect sense. Because
if you turn a man down on his knee,
that's
disrespect. Then you want to think about it and then tell him you ready.
His pride too. And that makes me think also too, like, not that I would think that I would ever be in a predicament to where the man of my dreams wants to propose to me and I say no. Not to think that I would ever be there. Yes. But in that split second, I feel like I would be like, do I really want this?
Yes.
Like off just the string, like nerves, like yes. It's like, so I definitely understand to say yes, and then we could talk about it later. And if something happens, then something happens, and we call it off, and life goes on. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's upset. It is what it is. It's peaceful versus the utter embarrassment.
Yeah, do not
of a man being on his knee.
I can't even imagine a woman saying no, especially not in no public place.
Other than Tahiri told no to Joe Budden.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
It's Joe Budden about a lot.
He was a joke.
But if we're in a public place
and everybody's looking, and it's like at that point you have to show unconditional love and say yes.
Yeah, because y'all been going on for long enough, so you got some type of love and feeling and respect. Right. So don't disrespect and be embarrassing. Don't say no or say get up.
Yeah, because I feel like, are we cool? Because you just told me no, and also it makes me feel like, did they have a conversation?
Yeah.
Because granted, some guys do make decisions on a wing because of what they feel. Like I was saying earlier on the Peep game. And it's like, I think I'm going to marry her. It's like, are you sure you want to marry her? Like, have you talked to her? Like, that's the first question. Have you talked to her?
Yeah.
Because you have to be sure and you have to be aware so these things don't happen.
And I think,
my God.
I agree with most people. I think 2 years is the max. I think people that's less than, I think sometimes people are less than a year, even, they may just be rushed or not rushed, but ain't nothing holding them up. And then 2, sometimes depending on when you get engaged, the season, like if you have to wait more than a year, it might be because you don't want to wait more than a year for your date or the season that you want. So it's like if you get engaged in winter, but you want to get married in the fall or the spring, you're not going to wait past the winter again to come back to fall and spring. You're going to get married in like 8 months, so, whatever.
And that's what Tamara said, I got married in 10 months. And another question posed because of her, she said her husband picked the date. Like when he proposed, he knew the day that he wanted to get married to her. Would that be okay with y'all?
What you think?
I think it'd be fine with me. Because that goes back to Forever Duncan. And just taking the initiative. Yeah, and just taking the initiative to even think far out enough to say, I'm going to set this date Boom. Not to mention their wedding was like 300 people, and almost all of them was like people he wanted there.
Yeah, and I was thinking too that he might have been. I know he was a reporter and he traveled. He might have picked a date that he knew he would be before he traveled or after, or something that would work in his work schedule. It could be something that we don't know why, but and that's the day is showing that you're serious about this anyway.
Yeah, and that's just like dope to me. Like certain things, I feel like that some women would not be appreciative of are the things that I would want. Yeah. Like I'm not
that's
real.
What society tells us. That we are more wedding crazy.
Yeah, and I'm not real girly girl and plannerish and all that stuff anyway. So if that's one less thing I gotta care about, it's like, oh, well, my man said we getting married on this day. He did, yes.
He did, and you gonna let him say that?
Yes. He proposed and he gave me a date. Cause then the shade come. He proposed and he gave me a date. What you wearing?
Ooh, ooh.
Catch that shade.
No, for real.
Get up under this tree.
No, I would be cool with that too. I mean, because
that's dope.
I guess I feel like why would you object? Are you busy that day?
Girl, that's just like when we be asking people to go on trips and they be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Nothing.
Oh, I thought y'all was going to Mexico. I didn't know y'all was.
It's like, have you been out of the United States?
Yeah, it's like if you're not, he proposed to you, you said yes. If you got a date,
baby, bring my date. If you listening and you gonna be my husband, baby, bring a date. Now, don't say nothing 6 months. Now, don't say nothing too risque, but bring a date.
Yeah, especially like in Tamara's case, she had money.
10 months too. Yeah,
there was no issue of why they couldn't get married, unless like they are celebrities, so she could have been booked for a gig.
So, listeners, y'all could just tell us a quick yes or no, the women and the men, if y'all would get something like that. Because I think that's pretty
I want to know if you're still listening. How much did you care about the wedding in terms of? Would you pick a date? Did you care about like?
Or did you just leave that up to her?
Yeah, did now, you care if it was in the fall? Did you what?
I will say some men care more about the wedding than they think they would.
Yes.
When it comes time, like my sister's husband was like that. When it comes time to planning, like he was real like, I don't care, babe, you can do what you want. Then them plans start coming. He's like, can we do, and it's like, I thought you ain't care about what we did.
Because I think they realize, I think in today's day and age, it's too much stuff in your face for you not to care. But for instance, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So I think that you see a lot of things you don't even know you see and that you think are cool and that you like. And so if your wife or fiance brings something that wasn't as cool as what you thought, what you saw, you're like, no, but what about this? Or I think this would look nice on the guy. Like you got more opinions. I think that's just a typical man. Now, there are some men that just genuinely are going to care because they might just be like more, like Kanye. Just want to like style, want to like stuff like that. But other guys, I think sometimes it just kind of hits you that you're involved in this too, and you're like, wait, I want to do this, or whatever.
I think, but in a sense though, and even though it may annoy the woman, you still have to take it for a grain of salt that he cares about the big day too. Like it's for you, but it's for them too. At the end of the day, And even
if I didn't want to get married that day for whatever ridiculous reason, I wouldn't say that right then. I would say yes, but if there was a reason, which I can't imagine, I would want to find out why do you want this date, for one. If it's sentimental to you, that's lovely. Like, maybe I'll be still on board. Right. But if it is some type of reason, maybe I'm like, well, let's do that. Like, maybe try to work with it, like, or something, if that was the case. Like, don't just be like, I feel like women, don't shut down, men that take initiative and that do something that is not normal.
That's the thing. Don't be detrimental to their successors.
Yeah, and it's because that's what society teaches us, that women are more into the wedding and women are more into that. So it's like,
but it's like the dude can very well be into it.
Yeah, y'all are sharing the day.
And that's something I think about too. Like I know when my sister was doing her wedding and she had a certain date that she wanted and numbers and meanings and stuff like that. And I was thinking like, am I just gonna randomly draw a date out of a hat? Like, to write down 5 dates, and whichever one I pick out the hat, that's what it is?
Probably. I mean, unless something happens with the person you're dating that is significant.
Yeah.
If a date happens, yes. But otherwise, I think it's going to be more of a thing where you pick the season.
Yeah, and then a
date. Fall or the spring.
And like in the middle of a month.
Because really, once you pick the season, you can kind of go, if you pick the season and then, God forbid, you pick the month, you can go and you find a venue, you're really on their dates then. Like, if they're booked this month, this day, on that month I want, I just get the next weekend.
Yeah, just change it. Like, that's what happened with my sister too.
Yeah, so it's like, it may not be that serious anyway.
I understand, but I don't know, the marriage life that has been thrown in my face, in Pierre and Javon's face, it's real, and it make you evaluate life, like, in different terms, but not to rush anything or anything like that. But it just really makes you put some things into perspective.
I have another question. How do we feel about people who... Oh, did it go away on here?
Yes.
Like done forever?
No.
Sorry.
Firefox. Oh, we're still on.
Okay, sorry guys. What about if a guy said he didn't or couldn't propose because of the ring, but not because he couldn't get a ring, because he couldn't get the ring that he wanted?
So if a guy wants a popping ring for you and
yes.
he can't afford it right then and there, so he's holding off his proposal.
Yes. So would you think, like, granted, this would have to be the time it's going to take him to get the ring he wants is too long for you. Like, that would be the dilemma. Would you say, just get what you can afford now, honey? Or would you say, no, I'll wait?
I don't know if that goes into the subject of the man just trying to do what he feels that he needs to do. I don't know if I would be stepping on toe. I honestly feel like if I was to say, get what you can afford, that would shoot him to go get it. Like what he can afford. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of times when it comes to the ring, that's a big thing. Like, is she going to like it? Is it going to be enough for her? It's a pressure on a man to find the ring that he feels. So you say
it's okay to get what you can afford, you think that'll make him feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the other thing I was going to say was, what if, I lost my train of thought. You said if he thinks, oh man,
if I give him the go ahead to just get something that he can afford, and then because wedding day, your band can be your wedding ring, and everything.
What I was gonna say was, I think me speaking to him would be from, I'm frugal friend, so I would be on the thing of, if you got to do all that to give me a ring, you can't afford it. Like, because sometimes we confuse what you can get and what you can afford. Because I always said before on here, you can afford it, you can buy 2 of them. So if you gotta push to get more than you can afford, in the end, when you get that, you couldn't afford it. So I don't need you to do that, push yourself and stretch yourself, whatever you're doing to get it. For me, that would be my perspective. Like, I just don't spend all that money.
Yeah, and it's like I said, even still, if your wedding is a year plus out, the guy, quote unquote, traditionally isn't paying for anything. So if you want to save up and get me a new proper ring for my wedding day gift, and that's my ring in my band, whatever, then that's cool. And then I can keep that other engagement ring just as love, a token of your love. Like, that's dope too, either way it goes. But I just feel like, guys, the pressure, it will be lessened if you say, get what you can afford. Yeah. Like, because at this point, I know you want to be with me.
Yeah, and I think men, hopefully somebody's proposing to me or you, they know us.
Right.
So it wouldn't even be like, oh, Pierre ain't taking this ring, child, so she ain't fooling, so the woman you marry. So the person that might be waiting that long might be really trying to not get smacked when they get down on their knee because that girl gonna be going off on them, which is just, honey, don't.
And then I feel like, and I was about to say, and if that's the type of person that you feel like you're marrying,
happening every day, Chanel.
That's an issue, and you don't need to be with them, because at the end of the day, it's not even about how big your ring is, to be honest. Because it's people with rocks, diamonds, yellow 10-carat rings, and they getting cheated on every day. Getting slapped in their face. And it's like, you got that big ring and it look good outside to the city, but inside those closed doors, it's hell for you. So what you want, a nice ring or a nice heart?
Ooh. All right, well, I don't know if we helped somebody today because we're not married, but I think we might have helped ourselves a little bit. At the very least. You got the date.
Oh. Shout out the room.
You ain't get it. Okay, yeah, so quote of the day. Do you have a quote?
Yes, I do. Give me a second so I can go on my phone and get it.
Because I actually have a quote too, but you can. You can go ahead.
Okay. We can have 2.
Okay.
Okay. So, my quote is from Maya Angelou. And it says, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty.
Yes.
And that basically means outside looking in, the butterfly looks so good, but the butterfly had to go through the cocoon. It had to get squished in the cocoon because the wings was getting too big. At some point, it couldn't even bust out, but at the right moment, it busts out, and it's this beautiful thing that we ain't ever seen, and we see it flying around, but we ain't see it in the tree stuff.
To pimp a butterfly.
Baby.
And I think that's a really good quote because so many people I feel like we just in a phase of life where things are trying to fall in place. They may not be falling in place, and they may not be in place, but you trying. And I think like that's we've been living
in a cocoon.
And people to the outside looking in may judge your cocoon like low key. But what I think is like, this is just a revelation I just had.
Just get it, girl.
Right now, we so often think, we always get on here and preach about don't judge your blessings or your success or your phase in life to the people outside of you, right? People that are on Instagram, whether they really living it or not. But the truth is, when you're in a cocoon, you can't see out.
Woo!
So if you really going through your work and you doing,
you don't see nothing else that nobody else doing.
You're not even phased by them.
So if you can focus so much in another, to piggyback off of that, if you can focus so much on what everybody else doing, you ain't doing nothing. Cause you can see. And if I'm in my cocoon, my eyes shut, my body closed, my body tight.
On the process.
All I can figure out is how to get these wings out.
Hello.
So then when I bust out and be this beautiful butterfly, y'all looking at me like, where she come from? Oh, over there in that tree. In my cocoon. Where have you been?
I don't got no quote. That was a good quote. We'll leave that.
Good word. Yes, that was.
Yes, and go out and vote, y'all. Early voting
ends tomorrow. It starts at 9 a.m. in North Carolina. At any location you can go to wherever you want. All you need is
nothing. Look your name up.
They'll look you up. That's all you need is nothing.
If you want to go somewhere quick, Delta House, I'll walk straight in and walk straight out.
Yes.
Hopefully it'll be like that on a Saturday, but I'm pretty sure it's been pretty clear because my mom went last Saturday to the library and Deltas were coming to the library saying come to the Delta House. Because it was nobody there.
Empty, so. It was a little wait today. My friend Shandy went. She said it was like 20 minutes, but that's still not bad.
Yeah. So people at the library are waiting an
hour and a half. Yeah. That's why I know I got to be up and at the location I want to be at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I can get in and get it popping. But yes, we really enjoyed today. We talked about this probably like 2 days prior to this and just, talked about it today and just leading up to it. Marriage is a beautiful thing, I like to think. And we both have the opportunity to see it in a closer light. In the coming years, we have an opportunity to see her brother and my sister and them just live and make their way in their own little cocoons, busting out into their butterflies. And it's just a beautiful thing. And I don't take it from nobody if they don't want to get married because we asked people if they wanted to get married on Facebook. And some people said no. Some people said yes. We had a lot of married people that say, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's not easy. It's not easy, but. Mm-hmm. And when you have that but, that but makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
And just like anything in life, nothing worth having comes easy. I hope that everybody's out there striving to be with somebody for the rest of their life or something. Try to have something good with somebody.
Build.
Stay thugging in your cocoon until them wings are beautiful enough and strong enough to fly. Don't give up.
You got all the...
Stay encouraged.
I ain't got nothing else to say.
We'll be back in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we will.
And we'll have some news.
Suggestions, hit us up, please.
And we'll have some news early December to share with y'all to let y'all know what's up with Fair Game and where we'll be going from here. Also, if you guys know of any people with merchandise that they're trying to get up and running or whatever the case may be, let us know. We're trying to do some things, and we're willing to wear people's clothing for photo shoots and stuff like that. So if y'all have anything, if you have anything in mind that you're trying to come up with, help us, help you, help us. We all just out here in our cocoons.
Basically.
So we hope y'all have a great weekend. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all for still rocking with us after it's been like a year and a half. Just keep up with Fair Game because we going somewhere.
I'm Pierre Devon.
I'm Nelly P.
And this is Fair Game.
Life's not fair.
But we are.
All the time, baby.